I don't even want to focus on it, because when I focus, then all the connections and the operations and the enemy program and different sectors of it, three-dimensional map pulls up in my mind from all my study, and I get a headache by the end of the show, and I get upset, and I'm like, my God, and I see what they're doing to us. I mean, these families call me en masse who are having their children taken, and I can't help them. And all these government sources and police and military calling me, and incredible breaking news and videos and documents and FBI training films, and I don't even have time to get it on the web or analyze it or break it down, and all the big news we've broken, the DHS and MIAC and clergy response teams and wars and what was going to happen with the stock market and housing bubbles, and having all this knowledge, having all this data, having all this discernment. And then knowing there's no way to even warn people or tell people. And then having them argue, is it real? Is it real? God almighty, look around you. All right, look, I'm going to at least take 5 or 6 calls, and then I got to get into all this global warming, global tax news, and a bunch of other stuff. It was an inside job, just like it always is. All right, let's get through some of your calls, because I do have a ton of news I want to get to as well. We'll continue with calls. And Bob Chapman's on with us, and Webster Tarpley coming up. But it's incredible how fast these shows go by when I start pontificating. But I tell you, those were heavy questions. Wow, you really have sources in the Pentagon? Yeah. We really have sources. We really get FBI training videos in here. Unbelievable stuff. It'd be huge news. But I'm like writing a book, and I'm doing a film, and I keep saying I'm going to get this video up that's worse than the MIAC report, worse than DHS about conservatives and gun owners being terrorists. And then I have so few personnel. And then I've tried to grow my operation, but we're so busy doing all these other things. It's just insane. And just stacks of things, and people calling up saying, I'm losing my house. Help me do a money bomb to pay for my house. And then I'm listeners saying this. Then I'm like, well, I can't do that. If I do one listener's money bomb, then everybody would expect a money bomb for themselves. I could be like a liar like Obama and just hug him and say, oh, I'm going to get you a house, and then not do it. As if I can do that. As if I can barely even pay my own bills. And then if I tell people, hey, you can't start doing this. You can't ask for money on my forum. You can't, then I'm bad. It's just like, it's not just going out and fighting the New World Order. It's dealing with all the politics, and then people think you're omnipresent and all-powerful, and you can wave magic wands and do a story on this, do a report on that. Hey, you're not talking about this flu thing enough, or you're not I saw something on 9/11 Blogger attacking me, saying I hadn't covered the nanothermite reports, and I just did a Google, and it was like 15 articles we posted in the last 2 months and 4 or 5 guests on it. Actually, we had Richard Gage on 6 times, and it's not enough. I'm covering up the nanothermite. In fact, I blew the towers up. It's me. And again, it's not even frustrating me that I have all these lies told about me. It's that I'm the bad one. It's that I did everything. I was the bad one. But it's like helping a drowning man. My parents, when I was a little kid, had a German Shepherd that if you were swimming, you couldn't take it swimming with you because it would come out and claw you trying to save you. But it's kind of the reverse of this. It's like trying to help a drowning man. I'm like, let me help you. There's a New World Order. We have to, you did it. And they pushing me under. Yeah, you're the New World Order. Oh, God. But I'm not going to be negative. I know I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm for real. I know I'm legitimate. And I know I'm going to move forward and try to warn people about vaccines that are killing them, and chemtrailing that's going on that's mainstream news, and wars and torture and government child kidnapping rings and government corruption and Obama lying about everything. I'm just here saying, wow, look at all this bad stuff. What does humanity want to do? We need to stand together and say no. And humanity, it's easier to say, no, we're not going to fix any of this. We're going to get you. It's your fault, And so all I can say is, folks, society is collapsing. This is the Big Depression. This is the New World Order. This is real. It's all happening now. This is just the beginning of the slide downward. Let's take a call. A ton of news is coming up. I just, this isn't some radio show with a big act, a liberal act or a conservative act. This is one guy who's tuned into what the elite are saying and doing. And let me tell you, it's scary, folks. And all I'm not trying to tell you to believe what I say or what I do. I'm just telling you, you don't know the full picture. You're being manipulated. We're being lied to. None of us have the full picture. All we know is a bunch of crooks are running things, and we better do something about it. Anonymous in Canada. You're on the air, Anonymous.
Good afternoon, Alex.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to let you go. I appreciate your call. No, I can't. I can't do this stuff back and forth with people. I'm sorry. Joseph in California. Joseph, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Alex. It's an honor to be on your show. I appreciate all the work you've done. You're a legend of our time. I'd like to get on foster care agency and the crap they pulled. I was a survivor from 1994 to 1999. They told all kinds of lies. They tried to get my parents convicted of murder, which was completely impossible. It's about a baby that I buried. And anyways, they tried to brainwash me to believing that I had helped bury the baby and everything. I mean, they were doing all kinds of bad stuff. My sisters got molested, and it's just an awful system. I'm telling listeners right now, this is no lie. This is very true.
You ought to write that story up. You ought to post that on the web. Everybody should tell their horror stories about what government did to them. I appreciate your call. You got a bad phone. We'll come back and try to take a few more calls and see if we can get on the phone with people here. You know, my cell phone, when I use it, cuts out about half the time I'm using it. And everybody's on Skype phones and IP phones now. And I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing out, is our communications getting better? As Joe Rogan said, by 2000, we're supposed to be flying around on silver jetpacks. Instead, my cell phone craps out every time I step behind a bush.